Hey, welcome back to Weather for Weather Geeks, everyone. It's the Wednesday afternoon edition. Last night turned out to be fairly rainy, and we had some rumbles of thunder across the valley at about 2:30 in the morning. Before that, the nastiest weather last evening was out to our west, and this is, what we expected. If you watched my special video from yesterday morning and my social media posts throughout the day, we were more concerned about areas west of the valley, seeing some hail, some damaging winds possibly. The conditions just weren't right here. So there were several reports of wind damage and a few isolated hail reports as well. But wind damage, kind of like from Cincinnati through Columbus up to Mansfield, kind of I-71. The National Weather Service went out and did a survey, a damage survey, in parts of Richland County around the Mansfield area. And even though a tornado warning was issued for a time last night, no confirmed tornado there. They suspect that the damage that was sustained in some parts of that county, in that region, there were actually two counties. I believe Morrow was the other county. The damage was probably microbursts, real strong gusts of wind coming out of a thunderstorm, and not a tornado. They can a lot of times tell these things by the type of damage that has occurred, the pattern in which trees fall. If they all fall in one direction, if there's a lot of trees down, a lot of times that's more typical of straight line winds as opposed to the trees being kind of spread out in the way they fell. So they've gotten pretty good at this in recent times, being able to determine what type of weather phenomena occurred based on the type of damage. All right, so let's talk about the current weather. Enough with last night. Here's the radar as I record this at about 2 p.m. on this Wednesday. Today's turned out to be wetter than I thought it would yesterday afternoon, and there's a reason for this. The cold front, is really slow to push through right now. We've got our front kind of just stalled. I was expecting it to make enough eastward progress, kind of maybe out through here, that our weather today might be similar to what they're having in Lima and Toledo today. In other words, not a lot of shower activity. But everything's just sort of slowed down enough that axis of moisture has pretty much parked itself now over southern Ohio, eastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania as well. I'll loop this so you can see the general motion of things. It'll take a second for all the data to load. So not only has today turned out to be a rainy day, but because of the clouds, the rain, and not much of a break, temperatures aren't going to get as warm this afternoon as we originally thought as well. Originally, we thought 70 would be achievable today. Just doesn't look like that's going to happen. In fact, a lot of us are going to be hard-pressed to get into the 60s with this rain. So if you have outdoor plans after work, after school today, plan on it being pretty much a washout. The rain, never real heavy, but it will be light to moderate for most of the rest of the afternoon and evening. We'll talk about the rest of the day in a little more detail in just a second. New tornado watch out down in southeast Virginia into northern or northeastern parts of North Carolina, where there could be, yes, more tornadoes. They had lots and lots of problems yesterday in the eastern part of North Carolina with tornadoes. And real quickly, just one more national weather story. Down here in the panhandle of Florida, the flooding here has been biblical. Houses are being washed away. Entire roads and bridges are being washed away. Some parts of the western panhandle of Florida and the southern tip of Alabama had up to 2 feet worth of rain in a 24 to 30 hour period. 2 feet of rain. And I saw some reports last evening of a few spots getting up to 5 inches in less than an hour. That type of rain is just, it's a catastrophic situation. Unfortunately, a couple of people have died as a result, and the rains continue down here in Florida. All right, as far as our weather, let me take off the radar here, just bring up the temperatures, the current temperatures quickly. Show you that, they're struggling with the lack of any sun and quite a bit of rain, only around 50 at this hour in Youngstown. Again, I think we're going to be hard-pressed to see 60, when originally we thought 70 would be a little more likely. So a little bit of a forecast bust today compared to what we thought 24 hours ago. It was starting to become obvious to me last evening, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, as some of the newer models rolled in, that hey, today's going to turn out to be rainy and cooler than we originally thought. So sorry about that. If you had some outdoor plans today, the weather's not going to be real cooperative with you. There's a lot of chilly air out across the Midwest this afternoon. Let me bring up the temperature contours here. Look at this cool air mass out here in the Midwest and into parts of the Great Lakes region. It's a March-like day. And this cooler air will continue making some eastward progress. So I think tomorrow and Friday are going to be chilly. We won't be as cool as the Midwest is right now, but it will be chilly at the end of the week. All right, I'm going to strip off most of the current information here, and just to quickly run through the rest of the day because there's not a whole lot to tell you other than it's going to be rainy. Let me bring up the latest high-resolution rapid refresh, the HER model, if you will. This is the simulated radar product. I'm going to fast forward a couple of hours. We'll start this at 4 p.m. Showing us generally what the radar should look like. This model does really well in the short term. A lot of times it's a little overdone with the scope of precipitation, but it does pretty well overall. There's 4 o'clock, scattered showers around, some light to moderate rain, 5 o'clock, and as we head through the dinner hours, 5 and 6 o'clock, what you see is what you get, more rain showers. That axis of rain just doesn't want to move very quickly today. And so right through sunset this evening, it's just going to be rainy at times. So we head through the overnight tonight. I do think, finally, that the axis of deepest moisture is going to start pushing east. So while it may be a little damp and drizzly overnight, it's not going to be as consistently wet tonight as the daylight hours were. And then as we roll into tomorrow, let's talk about first thing tomorrow morning at the bus stop. Maybe a shower, but not as wet as this morning. And overall, tomorrow will be a drier day. Confident that tomorrow's forecast is going to work out better than today. This is a little overdone to me, I think, on the model tomorrow. Any rain's going to be spotty. It's going to be real light. The bark is worse than the bite here. Not a lot of sun tomorrow, particularly in the afternoon. The morning might start with a few peaks, but keep the umbrella handy for our Thursday. It's not going to be as completely wet as today, though. All right, speaking of wet weather, with the rain that's fallen, some places a couple of inches worth of rain lately, we wanted to check in on our local waterways, particularly the Mahoning River. This is at Leavittsburg, of course, a flood-prone area. The current level is in action stage. It's up around 7 feet. Minor flooding, typically around 10 feet. We're not expected to get up to that level. That is good news. The rain, just light enough. It's been real consistent, but it's never been real heavy. It's never come down really hard. So that's helped us out. So we're at action level right now. We'll have to keep an eye on it, but generally a downward trend as the showers become less and less frequent at the end of the week. All right, so by the end of the day today, it's possible up at the Youngstown Warren Airport we may close out April with pretty close to 5 inches worth of rain. It's been a wet month. Typical April, about 3¼ inches. Where does this rank all time? It would get us into about the top 17 Aprils, going back to about 19. The records actually go back to the late 1800s as far as precipitation. You can see the 5-inch mark is right around 16th place. So we might get close to that. We're not in the top 10. We've had much wetter Aprils recently, including 2011 with 6.87. The wettest April on record, the El Nino winter, was followed by a wet April 1998, 7.29 inches. So a wet April, but nothing historic. All right, so scattered showers in the forecast for Thursday. Here's a look at Friday then. Green blobs, not a lot. But yes, there can be a shower or two on Friday. Temperatures below the average through the weekend. Saturday will feature one more kind of pretty strong low-pressure center moving through southern Canada, keeping the atmosphere unstable around Ohio and western PA. Could be a shower. I'm confident that Sunday, while we can't rule out a shower, Sunday is looking a little less active, and then even less activity next week. We're finally going to break out of this. I do think that next week we're going to see a transitional period back to better weather. Will it be 75 or 80 next week? No, it doesn't look like that, but you got a shot at 70 for a couple of days next week, I think. The whole week not likely to be dry, but showers, rain, much less frequent for next week than this week. So we got a few more days of unsettled weather to get through. Things are looking better as we head deeper into May. That's weather for Weather Geeks on this Wednesday. Hope you'll join me on the news tonight at 6 and 11. 21 News on, as usual, at the usual times tonight. And as always, early risers, check out Justice Forecast tomorrow morning on WFMJ Today. We'll see you then.